YouTubers are not your friends. Sorry guys, but it has to be said, because for whatever reason, a lot of y'all don't understand that people on the internet do not see you as some sort of best buddy that you have a lot of history with. You go way back, when in reality, you're just somebody sitting on the other end of the screen, watching somebody yap about their life. And I don't know why this is. It's a case where a lot of people just think, for whatever reason, they are entitled to some sort of relationship with somebody that they've literally never met before. And I feel like we can blame a lot of things for that, but more than anything, I wanted to yap about this, because the other day, right, I had somebody in my Discord server quite literally DM me and ask me what they should do about their parents being abusive to them. Right, now listen, this guy I have interacted with a couple of times on my streams at most. I do not know anything about them. I have known them for maybe a couple days, and saying that I know them is even a stretch because I really don't. Alright, I've had a couple of interactions, and this person who lives on the other side of the the Atlantic Ocean tells me, hey, so what do I do about my parents? Can you give me advice? And I respond like, dude, what do you want me to do? You live in Britain. How am I supposed to help you? Do you want me to fly over to your house, book a flight all the way to London, so I can walk to your front door and tell your parents to stop being mean to you? Like, my guy, I'm broke, I'm poor, I can't do that. And that, and watching a couple of videos online, made me really want to yap about the fact that people seem to be so obsessed with the parasocial nature of online relationships anymore, that it genuinely gets in the way of their own ability to form actual human connections. And now listen, I am one of those people that's very fortunate to have never been caught up in a super parasocial web, and I feel like there's also a difference between having online homies and actually having a parasocial relationship, because there is a difference, alright? Listen, one is you met somebody in a different way that is not necessarily bad, but is also abnormal, and it makes people think, you know, it might be a little bit weird, but honestly the culture behind it is probably a little bit overblown, and as long as both people are consenting to have whatever relationship they're having over the internet, then as far as I can tell, that's fine. The issue where it does come, however, is when you are watching a random YouTuber or a random streamer or looking at a random celebrity or fictional character or whatever, and you think, damn, this person's really cool. We should get married. Because listen, it is one thing to just meet somebody over the internet and start a friendship through there, but it is an entirely other thing to go out of your way to stalk and harass a bunch of people who don't even know your name, and more than likely do not want to interact with you at all. Now listen, I'm not saying that all relationships over the internet are like this. I am just saying that a lot of people online really do not know how to differentiate right from wrong. And you know, that is likely due to the fact that the internet is frankly infested with a bunch of children that really shouldn't be on there. That's the fault of the parents, and the parents should be better parents. But the fact of the matter is, people genuinely lack, critical understanding of the world around them. And it leads to them to idolize and be influenced by these, basically, celebrities, into thinking that, well, hey, these are great, amazing people who only have my best interest in mind, when in reality, they're not all that good, actually, and they're kind of just in it for the money. And now listen, that's not all of them. There are a bunch of very good people out here who try to do the best for things. I'm talking about your Gideons. I'm talking about your Mr. Peace. People who do philanthropic? Sure, whatever you say, try lad. Philanthropic work in which they do good for the community. In Gideon's case, he catches child predators. In Jimmy's case, he gives away a whole bunch of money to a lot of people that, need it. But at the same time, these people have their own skeletons in their closet and a lot of dirty laundry that they would care rather to just, toss aside, pretend like it doesn't exist. And then when it comes up, they always deflect and say, well, this person actually did these bad things, so therefore the claims against me are invalid, and people always eat it up. Now listen, I'm not saying that Gideon is a bad dude or anything, but, he's kind of done some things that make me think that he might not be the greatest person ever. Of course, that's just my take. I know people do have theirs, and I'm perfectly respectful of any takes that you do have. At the end of the day, these are all our opinions, and I'm just expressing my opinion here. But in my personal opinion, I really do not see how people can form these relationships with these people they don't even know. Because what happens is you get, literally every YouTuber ever. Remember how big of a deal it was when EDP was actually, outed as being a child predator? It was big news. It was a headline. It made actual, national, international, even news lines. And to say that people were betrayed is an understatement. I'm just sitting here thinking, Well, yeah, no way, guys. If the guy you knew nothing about actually turns out to not be the greatest person, now, like, I'm not saying the first thing you should jump to if you don't know somebody is immediately think they are EDP 445, okay? What I am saying is that you can't really expect that people who have these online personas of just wholesome goodness are, like, the best people ever, because more often than not, the more, like, positive you try to reflect yourself, and the more disingenuous you are with your content, the more likely you are to, you know, not be the greatest person in the grand scheme of things. And listen, don't get me wrong, there are some people like that. Stampy is a very good example of it. You saw I was, like, recreating his house earlier. It's pretty funny. But, like, for the vast majority of people, generally this image of just, like, wholesome goodness comes with a lot of baggage attached to it. And it makes people either quit or, you know, it's a masking tool to keep them from revealing their true intentions to the public. And of course, I suppose there's a third option, which is just not caring at all and extorting your audience for as much money as humanly possible, because a lot of people seem to do that for some reason. I mean, look at any Twitch streamer in the IRL category, and you will know that they basically bank on these parasocial relationships for their entire lives. Their livelihood depends on scamming young and vulnerable people out of their hard-earned money, because they would rather sit in front of the game and record their not-so-pleasant areas for the internet to see, and people will fork over hundreds of dollars to see these not-so-pleasant areas of their bodies. And, you know, they constantly skirt around, not only TOS, but, like, the social construct that society is built on to just say, hey, I am a person that you know, and I definitely love you, and I definitely care about you. I have millions of fans, but I love you specifically, so you should give me all of your money, put it right in my pocket. You know, guys, if only life were that easy. I mean, like, why don't I just go out here and I say, guys, will you watch all of my advertisements for me, please? Of course, what do I know, right? I'm just a Minecraft PNG on the internet that yaps about stuff that I do wrong in my life for the most part, so I really don't think I have too much room to talk about what people do wrong in their lives. I mean, don't get me wrong, I got my opinions, right? But it's kind of hypocritical to say that all of these people are just, like, the worst individuals imaginable, when I'm kind of, like, not the greatest person myself, and I don't try to hide it, right? And listen, if you've been on this channel for more than 5 days, or you know for a fact that I have had a very storied history in my life, and I've been up to a lot of things I probably shouldn't have been, but just the fact that people go out of their way to, like, actively exploit people, I don't know, just something about it rubs me the wrong way. Probably has something to do with my upbringing. I mean, who knows, maybe once I get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, I'll become, like, the most selfish, entitled person on the planet. Only one way to find out. You should subscribe to my stream, guys. But I don't know. I just can't envision a world where I do end up being like that, because it just, as far as my upbringing and, like, the morals I've instilled into myself, it just doesn't seem right to, like, take advantage of, like, young, vulnerable people just for, you know, to line my pockets with some extra money. Don't get me wrong, I could use the money. I really, really need it right now. But just the way of getting it always seems, like, so convoluted and misguided. It's clearly just a way for these people to make more money, and I really wish people just, like, cared enough to actually, like, do something, instead of just, like, you know, being the one streamer that's just always like,
I love money, like, give me all of it.
And, you know, it gets to a point when you start to wonder, like, what is even happening in the world anymore, right? We've got doctors and nurses and farmers making literally not even enough to live off of. Meanwhile, these people just get to be on the internet, they get to yap about their lives, and it's suddenly the most lucrative thing in existence. That's how capitalism is supposed to work. Capitalism is supposed to be based off of what you provide to society and how much your work is worth. Please explain to me how yapping online and showing your body is somehow more valuable than medical care. Please explain it to me. But I'm getting off topic, right? This is a video about YouTubers being your friends. And let me tell you, I feel like there are a lot of YouTubers out there that do understand the parasocial philosophy is bad. I think Critical is the biggest example of this, right? He constantly goes out of his way to correct people in his chat who say that they know him and he's a big fan, and he's always going out of his way to say, you're not my friend, you're my audience. And I feel like that's a nice distinction to draw. Now listen, I'm not going to say it's impossible for a viewer to become friends with a YouTuber. I mean, beyond a certain point, it probably becomes inevitable, but what I am saying is this is very rare, and you watching the video right now, probably are not going to be one of those people. I am not exempt from this either. If you were watching my videos, there is a 99.999% chance that I am never going to meet you. I will never see you in my life. I won't ever even speak to you, and if I do, there is an even lower chance that we'll ever be friends, and that's just the hard reality of it, right? There are people on the internet that you want to know more, that you like to learn about, but in reality, they're not all they're chalked up to be. And I feel like that's the hard part about meeting your heroes a lot of the time, is that sometimes, you know, they're just not the people you expect them to be. And then you realize that, and you're like, man, things could have been a lot better for me, couldn't have they? And of course, I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom here. Obviously, there is a lot more to look forward to in life than, like, meeting a streamer or something, but it's just such an issue with our society, and I had to yap about it because, I mean, what are we supposed to do? No, seriously, what are we gonna do, guys? Because I need to know, like, what the game plan is here, because we as a society have literally built our entire lives off of worshipping a bunch of people parasocially. I mean, we are literally being the old president of America is getting people to be parasocial to him and feeling like he's deeply connected with them when he's doing God knows what over on the island of the man, you know, it's just like, what are we doing? How have we as a society structured our entire existence off of feeling like we have deeper connections with people that we don't care about? It's just wild to me how things have gotten to such a point. And I know, like, we're devolving into a app here, but before we go completely off the rails, I would just like to say that if you're watching me, right, do not be afraid to, like, reach out or comment, okay? Please keep your boundaries, okay? This is by no means me saying that I am absolutely ungrateful or, like, weirded out by any of the interactions I've had thus far. Don't get me wrong, most of you all are very, very kind and considerate people, but there's always going to be the bad apple in the bunch that really doesn't know what the heck they're doing, and when you realize that, things start to become a little more, how do I put this, batshit insane? You do not want to know the stories that I have heard about people just, like, hiding inside of random streamers' houses for no reason other than the fact that they think, because of the deep emotional connection that was forged by these streamers to make them more money, ends up backfiring on them, and not only putting their lives in danger, but also the lives of their families, and the lives of everybody else around them in danger, because let me tell you, these people will do some crazy, crazy stuff if it means meeting their favorite streamer that they are for some reason convinced is going to get them married. I don't know why they think like this. There is no way I will ever be able to comprehend why they think the way that they do. They just do. And now listen to me, guys. If you really think that these people are sane, I would like you to look into some of the stories. Seriously, just look up on YouTube, streamer being stalked by fan, and you will see dozens, if not hundreds, of videos of random people just, like, doing all sorts of weird and crazy things. Again, back to Critical. I remember this one video where a streamer flew out one of her mods to, like, her penthouse in, like, LA or something, and in LA, she coerced him into thinking that he was gonna get to have sex, and when in reality, that never happened, and he got duped, and it was, like, a whole big story on the internet. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, you have people, like I said, literally living in attics. Like, I have seen videos of, like, streamers having people living in their attics because people are just being stalked to the upteen billionth degree for absolutely no reason. I can't tell you why it happens. I don't know why it happens. Only God knows why it happens. But it really just goes to show where these streamers' priorities are at. They don't care about their families. They don't care about their fan base. They just care about making money. And like I said, it's not all of them, but for the vast majority of them, it gets really, really bad really quick. And you don't want it to be bad, but you realize it is bad. Because let me tell you, I have been up all night recording this video. It is 6 a.m. I have been up since 6 a.m. the other day, and I am about to crash. So, I guess the question now would be, how would one even go about fixing a problem like this? I mean, it is literally so ingrained into our society that, like I said, the literal president of the most powerful nation on the planet is playing into this philosophy. It gets to the point to where it's almost so systemically rooted to where it becomes hard to, like, even find a way out of the situation. But I feel like we can make steps. For one, I feel like learning healthy social boundaries is something that really needs to be taught more to kids at a young age. Think about it. A lot of the times, we spend most of our time on the internet, which is not inherently a bad thing, but it does rob us of a lot of social interactions that we would otherwise get in the real world. And because of that, we don't develop social skills the way that we used to. I mean, the world has changed since COVID, and because of that, well, you know, we've kind of had to adapt. And one thing that we haven't learned to adapt to is how to socialize in this new modern digital age where half of our communications, let's be real, takes place over the internet, not face-to-face anymore. And because of that, it becomes very easy for people to become susceptible to the kind of manipulation that, you know, is profited like this. I feel like, for starters, parents, if you're watching this, make sure your kids actually get, like, a formal education. I don't just mean, like, send them to school. Teach them how to, like, play. Take them outside, make some friends. It's very important for them that they learn these skills, because if they can, it could very easily help them in the future. Because at the end of the day, I am just here to entertain. I am your local neighborhood tree lad who is here to yap to you for 20 minutes a week, and then you go off on your day. That's my job. Now, the job for y'all is to learn healthy boundaries. Next time you're on a stream, or next time you're watching a YouTube video and you feel like you emotionally connect with that story, go for it. Embrace the feeling. Embrace all that it makes you feel. Get connected with the media itself while understanding that the person on the other end is simply an artist and you are interacting with their art. I feel like it could go a long way to help destroy this culture of just like always needing to be the center of attention and always clout chasing, and it would honestly lead to a healthier society overall. But that's all about for me, guys. If you did enjoy the video, please do make sure to subscribe, and I'll leave a link in the description below if you want to join my Discord server, where you can be super parasocial. I'm kidding, obviously, but we do have some fun events that go on there from time to time, and if I'm ever live, hey, you'll be the first to know when I upload a new video or go live there. But for now, guys, my name is Trylad. Have an awesome day, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye!